All right, you're here for one reason and one reason only, because it is a Shadow Shaper duel event with some half decent rewards, and you hate the shit out of Shadow Shaper duels. I'm just kidding. Some of you might just be here looking for a little bit of help and advice. I have been playing a lot of Shadow Shaper duels over the last few weeks. I'm just loving it. I've got some decks that I'm really enjoying. I'm all the way up at level 28, been playing a bunch of PvP and PvE against the NPCs. So I have somewhat of an understanding of the card game, and I want to kind of go through each of the days and give you basically my opinion on which deck I believe will be the easiest to complete, and we'll kind of like go through why I'm thinking that way. Doesn't mean that it's going to be proven true, but just from what I can see, this is my understanding on where I think the best decks for each day is going to be. So let's move into our event. So for day one, most of you have maybe already completed this, maybe even already completed day two by now. Well, by the time this goes up. So for day one, I ended up using deck one. It is a fantastic deck for gaining a bunch of power. We're specifically going to be going over the best ways to get your gold chest, which is you need to at least have over 30 power actually. And I don't even think you just have to end the duel with a total power over 30. So you don't need to win, I don't believe. I think you just need to have more than 30 power. I could be wrong. The last time I did it, I got over 30, but I tied, which counted as a win for me for some reason. Anyways, I'm going to be going over the best decks to hit your gold chest, because that's where the good rewards are, and that's all the stuff you're here for, right? For day number one, I'm going to say deck number one. Just the inspiration from the Hive lead to getting a lot of power increases. You'll be using your Hexacards of Legends. If you can get these out right at the beginning of the game, they'll give you basically 6 to 7 points by the end of the match. On top of that, your Tenacious Shields, that'll grant inspiration to even more stuff. And there's a bunch of great cards in here. Inquisitor is insane for dealing damage to enemies. If there's something on the enemy's field that is causing you some problems, we can see here they'll have Wu Ming, maybe the Guardian Servitor. Maybe you want to get rid of this tracker, or there's an Ayuela that's bothering you. You want to put some stuff in the front row. You can drop this bad boy and pop some... Oh, that's the wrong one. Pop some 4 damage into something on their side of the field. This is another great one. The Knight, turn 3, you can have Hexguard up. By turn 3, it'll have 3 power on it. Drop the Knight, and that'll boost it up from 3 to 6. There's tons of great ways here to get some power. The Wizards giving a random Hive unit inspiration as well. Basically, by the end of it, you're just going to have like 6 or 7 different hives that all are gaining a bunch of inspiration and just slowly going stronger and stronger and stronger each turn. Your other option here is this human deck. I've looked it over, and it's not bad, but it definitely looks like it has the gist to break, and it's much more... It requires a lot more thought when it comes to placing in placing the deck, because it all really relies on, from what I can see here, it relies on early game setting up gorillas. So using cards that will spawn gorillas for you, like these cards. There's other cards that will spawn them, and then at the end of the game, using stuff like Radagast and Lady Scory to buff all of your gorillas that are out there. So this one takes a little bit more thought. I would say the Hive inspiration is definitely the easiest route. For our second one, there's really only one choice, and that is going to be choice number 2. I'll show you why, because choice number 1 is this Fallen deck, and this is a fantastic deck. It is a really easy deck to win with. The issue is that I did the math on it, and even with like a perfect hand, like you're getting Marauders out, you're getting your Servitors out, and then the next turn you get like another Marauder and like a Servitor out or whatever, and then you're popping like a Tracer Shank and like another like whatever. Like you're just getting all of your best stuff out every turn. It's perfect hands. You're maxing out at like 32, 33. Like that's the max power you're probably going to be looking at in a good run if the enemy doesn't kill any of your stuff. And it has stuff to be able to kill your stuff. It has like the Inquisitors. There's plenty of here that can just deal damage to you and get rid of your units. This one is fantastic if you just want to win. If you're having trouble winning, I go for this one. It's really strong, but if you're trying to get those 30 plus points, this is not going to do it for you. On the other hand, this Cabal one has tons of stuff. It's definitely a little bit harder to understand because it deals a lot with columns, which is basically just putting cards, like a card in the front row and then a card in the back row directly behind it. But there's tons of stuff here to grant power. These Legionnaires are like the Hive, and I think they were Inquisitors. Basically, if you have one on the top, one on the bottom, so on turn 2, see you have 2 of these Legionnaires, you put one on the top, one on the bottom. For the next 6 turns, they'll gain power, getting them up to 7 power by the end. And then you have your legendary Sheikahs. Again, if these are in a column, they just gain 2 power. This one again gains 2 powers, and these are sustained, so they're in effect as long as the unit's on the battlefield. So there's plenty of ways here to get more and more power. And the same with Bra. Like if you have column, it grants +3 power to all units in a column. So say you have like you know, 2 guys in a column, 2 guys in a column, 2 guys in a column, and then you play like Bruh in another column, all 4 of those columns will get buffed by +3. So there's tons of great ways here to hit that 30 mark. So on day 2, I would highly recommend playing the Cabal deck. Day 3, we're gonna go back to the Hive deck. A lot of these decks actually repeat. I've noticed throughout the event, it's basically a lot of the same decks. Some of them have a few variations, but for the same reasons, we'll be going for the Hive deck. Just because, once again, this Fallen deck, it's honestly a hard choice. My only reason for saying the Hive deck over the Fallen deck is that this one can definitely brick on you. Like if you don't get your Resilient Captain right off the bat, or your Unrelenting Captain early on, you're gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be a little bit rough for you. But for the most part, I would say both of these decks are really good decks. I'm personally probably going to go with the Hive deck, but the Fallen deck is also a good choice. So for day 4, we're going to be going with the Cabal deck. This one's a little bit different than the other one. The other one dealt with columns. This is more of actually like the meta Cabal deck. Not quite the meta Cabal deck, but it's kind of there. It deals a lot more with the Shinka Decurions and just a lot of more. There are enemy cards here that will give you plenty of buffs, like the Centurion if it's in a line of 4, so basically 4 cards like in either the top or the bottom tied together that have like this unit line thing. It'll grant +2 power to the card on the left and the right, which is fantastic. And then there's a bunch of other cards here that'll be helpful for you. The main reason is because deck 1 is again this Fallen deck where it's really good for winning, but you're not going to be hitting that 30 tier mark on this one for sure. Yeah. For day 5, we'll be going with deck number 2. This is that Fallen deck from earlier. It's built around getting these Fallen Dregs out, and then using your Unrelenting Captain to give the Dregs more power, and spawning more Dregs with Resilient Captain, and then using your other things to kind of deal damage and deal with the cards on the enemy side. And then at the end, dropping Vanok. This deck is really reliant on getting Vanok. If you don't draw Vanok, you're not hitting that 30 mark for sure. Or at least it'll be really rough to hit it. So it's definitely hit or miss. You need to pull this Vanok. There's a lot of like bricks in here to not hit the 30. Like if you don't get if you don't get any of these cards early on, you're kind of shit out of luck. If you don't get Vanok at all, you're shit out of luck. The issue is deck number 1 is this deck, and again, this one's a little bit weird. It's reliant on getting Gorillas out. It's kind of the exact same premise as the Fallen one, but just worse. So I mean, if you want, give it a try, but just looking it over, I don't think this is going to be the deck you're going to want to run. On day 6, once again, we're running into that same issue of deck number 1 is this very good deck that won't be hitting 30 with. Deck number 2 is going to be your go-to. It's the Hive one again. Like I said, a lot of these repeat. This Hive one will be your best bet to hit that 30 mark. And then finally on day 7, once again, we'll be going Hive deck number 1 for the final day, because deck number 2, this one is actually the first deck that's a little bit different. I was looking it over and it is kind of interesting, but it feels like I don't know. It's definitely a weird one. It looks like it relies on using like Zur, giving Zur bonuses to spawn rocks on the enemy team, and then using common cover to place rocks on the front row of the enemy team, and then dropping a Stella at the end to grant a power equal to 2 times the number of units in the opponent's front row. So you basically stack the front row with rocks, and then you play a Stella, which causes you to get basically like 14 extra points on top. So you basically have 13 plus 14, which would almost give you the 30 right there. It's an interesting deck, and it might be a good choice. It's just hard to test. It's hard to basically test it to see how well it actually works, especially because I don't have the Estella card. I can't actually test this myself. Yeah, but there are plenty of ways here. Like Lady Scoria, it doesn't really work with the deck quite well because like you're focused on filling up the front row while this focuses on their back row. I mean, keep this in mind if you are having trouble with the Hive deck. I can see the Hive deck maybe having trouble against this this Cabal deck, because this Cabal deck will deal out a lot of damage very quickly. But if you can kind of like affect their lines and make it hard for them to do stuff by placing rocks like in between Cabal enemies, it might actually be a good play. So keep it in mind, but I'm probably going to start off trying with the Hive here. Hopefully this helps you guys in completing some of these and getting yourself plenty of these materials that you'll need to level your characters. It's always nice to have some bonus materials. I know it's not a lot, it's not as much as we wanted, but at least it's something. And then, I mean, you can get yourself a really cool Shadow Shaper Duel card back for those of us who actually enjoy the Shadow Shaper card game and are actually looking forward to having this, because it actually looks really nice. I'm excited to have this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped some of you guys and maybe even convince some of you to give the event a try. I actually really love the Shadow Shaper card game. It's super fun. It ain't no triple triad, that's for sure, but it's a good time. I've been having a blast with it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have yourself a supernova day.